Hey everyone. I think I'm live now. Am I alive? Can people hear me? I know there's a bit of a delay, so I gotta wait for a second to see if anyone can actually hear me. Bop-a-da-bop. Anybody at all. Hi, your ex. Hi, PA. Hi, beautiful nightmare. Yeah, if you guys couldn't tell, I'm a little bit new with this stuff. So I made 8,000 mistakes, but now we're all good. We're all up to date. I'm live. People can see things. Cool, thank you, Nini. So I'm not going to pretend to be a particularly interesting person. All I'm going to do is I'm going to record my lines, and I'll kind of chat with you guys throughout the process. Sounds super duper fun, doesn't it? Basically, my plan today is to record my 2-sentence horror stories, and then I'm going to record some other longer stories. I don't know if I'm going to get through them all today, but I guess we'll find out now, won't we? Why is that not showing up? Or is it? Oh, I'm not actually looking at the actual stream. I'm just looking at my stuff. God, I'm such a foolish little person, aren't I? How's everyone in the chat doing? There we go. Now I'm here. 3 people watching now. Hi, Magnetar_YT. You've been saying the dad thing a lot. Are you calling me dad every time you do that? Because if so, it's, I'm not aware of having any children. Magentar. Hold on. I got to do a thing here. Because how can this proceed without you guys being able to see the chat directly on the screen? It's impossible. That can't happen. It's okay, beautiful nightmare. We all procrastinate. It's fine. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Well, you can kind of see it. It's a little bit small. And my inspiration was that I like the color magenta, and you spelled it wrong. So it was love at first sight. Hello, Mandy Mortem. Do any post-mortems today? There we go. It's a little bit bigger now. Let's see how well that goes for us. It's still super small. Holy crap. Oh, no. See, but you guys are just going to have to deal with it being small for now. Because I have too much crap on the screen, and I don't have enough time to redesign everything. That'll be next week. 42, I will not be taking any flack from you. I will end you, and I'm not scared of it. Or you. Okay. So, wow, 8 people. No pressure, huh? Okay. So, to anyone who just showed up that wasn't already here, I'm basically just going to read some 2-sentence horror stories. Hey, Brandy Gilbert. I'm going to read some 2-sentence horror stories and some longer stories, and we'll see how far we get through it today. I don't actually know if anyone else is live streaming right now. So if I'm about to like interrupt anyone else's live stream, let me know, and I will decide whether or not to care at the time. There's a 50-50 chance whether or not I'll care. All right, so I'll just give it a couple minutes here. Oh, 42. Like, you can't stop recording. It's like all you do is record. You just constantly record all the time. Uh-oh. Nervous? I'm not nervous, Nini. What are you talking about? I love being in front of people. That's why I subject myself to this. Who would live stream if they didn't like talking to people, right? I was about to like my own stream. See, that's how absorbed into the YouTube culture I am. I'm so used to liking other people's stuff that I'm just about to like my own stuff like some sort of vain, crazy person. I like for the sake of vanity. I appreciate that you were saying beautiful nightmare. Well, I know you're allowed to, but, like, should you, though? I mean, how does that look? I'm pretty sure there's people on the YouTube algorithm judging you every time you do it. Like, I don't approve of that guy over there. Do I sound nervous? Like, everyone's telling me not to be nervous. I mean, I appreciate it, Nothing makes me feel less nervous than being told not to be nervous. Dang, okay. You better listen to 42. She'll mess you guys up. I've seen it happen before. Okay. Oh, do I? Oh, okay. Well, sorry. My bad. Hello, Gina Junio. I'm just giving it a couple minutes to let people roll in. But, people are getting impatient. I'm so sorry. Okay, I guess I'll proceed then. Okay, so starting with my 2-sentence horror stories. Let's see how far I can get here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, PA. Uh-oh. Wow. I think I might have it on the wrong one there. Oh, nope, we're all good. Okay. Perfect. All right, here we go. I'm just going to bang them out back to back and, scream at things I see in the chat. Okay. A guy just ran up to me while screaming that somebody had locked him in a basement, blindfolded him, and starved him for days. You should have seen the look of absolute horror on his face when he recognized my voice. As I leave the bedroom early in the morning, I give her a kiss on the cheek, the purest form of love I can express. I make sure to close the window behind me so she won't know I was there. I put up some pretty solid posts last night, but I woke up this morning and noticed that almost all of them got taken down. I can't help but wonder, If they made it past the fence this easy, who's to say they aren't already inside? They say that every time you learn something, a new wrinkle appears on your brain. After some investigation, I was angry to find out that my students didn't learn anything from my lessons. Good girl, I murmured to my beloved dog as the first tears slid down my face. I didn't think her little teeth would hurt this bad, but it's been 3 days since I fell, and there's no need for both of us to starve. My friends jokingly call me vampire because I'm pale and don't like garlic. If they saw the bodies in my basement, however, they would probably call me Wendigo instead. Am I the only one who doesn't know what a Wendigo is? I'm pretty sure I've been told what a Wendigo is like 8,000 times, but I can never remember. That's probably a mark of shame of a horror narrator, not knowing what a Wendigo is. I went to a fortune teller and she read my future. I went to a fortune teller and she read my future. She suddenly started screaming and ran out of the room. So I ran after her and stabbed her to death. I don't know why I find that funny. I think it's the way I read it. Okay. She suddenly started screaming and ran out of the room, so I ran after her and stabbed her to death. I think this is the last one here. They are only 2 minutes. There is only 2 minutes worth of them. Hearing my daughter yell, "Mom, he's touching me!" Again for the... I gotta reread that. Hearing my daughter yell, "Mom, he's touching me!" Again for the 100th time this road trip made me want to snap. But I kept my cool and calmly replied, "I know, baby, but we need the gas money." That makes you feel a little bit icky just saying that out loud. Okay, so let's see what people are saying in the chat. I haven't been able to see this chat the entire time. Oh wait, I should probably stop the recording. Shouldn't I do that? There we go. That's done and dusted. I already have the intros and outros recorded, so I don't even have to worry about that here. People are just... Do we need to do we need to do research to find out what a Wendigo is? Okay. People are just laughing at me. I hope that better be good laughter, I swear to God. I'll come through the screen at you. Yeah, everything's recording. We're all good. Wendigos, people tend to be scared of Wendigos, so isn't it bad that your butt would be a Wendigo? I don't know. I am really not as nervous as I sound, guys. I swear to God. Then again, that's probably what they all say, right? I'm not nervous. I'm just big boned. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a second, and then I'll start the longer story here. I'll give you guys a second to start yelling at me in the chat. I mean, honestly, if you had a Wendigo attached to your ass, I think a lot of people would want to see that. If you're scared of your own body parts, I'm pretty sure there's like a word for something like that. Maybe a very specified version of body dysmorphia? You know what? Now I'm curious. Now I gotta learn. Well, like, what is a Wendigo? Only one person gave me a bit of an answer there. What? It's probably gonna. There we go. Welcome to school with SilverThreads. See, class is in session, folks. Wendigo is a mythological creature or evil spirit from the folklore of the First Nations Algonquin tribes based on the northern forests of the east coast of Canada. It's a Canadian monster. Perfect. And here I didn't even know what it was before. Oh, it says Canada and the United States, but, you know, I prefer to think of it as a exclusive Canadian creature there. So it's basically an evil spirit. I like it. A native evil spirit. Dun, dun, dun. Magnetar, no. I do not watch Supernatural because I think it's dumb. And I am proud of that thought, and although people might kill me for it. I watched 7 seasons of Supernatural, and honestly, I wish I could have all the knowledge drained out of my brain. Because it feels like I'm only half against Supernatural. I don't know if I would have the powers, Richard. Like, all I read there was that it was a spirit. So I don't even know its powers. I wasn't going to go that deep into it. I'm your dad whether you like it or not, Magnetar. No. I'm glad, Nini. I probably should. I don't know. I probably shouldn't be like dunking on like one of the most popular shows ever. Oh, there you go. Fearsome's on my side. Thanks, Fearsome. I don't know when you I don't know when you landed in here, but I'm glad you're here now. Fight them for me. Fight the Supernatural lovers. A show I do like. I like lots of shows. I like Game of Thrones. I like The Boys. I like The Office. I don't know. Like, what are we I like Adventure Time. I love SpongeBob. Well, to be fair, Game of Thrones did get quite bad towards the end. 242 wants to see more likes, so for her sake, you better put more likes on the video. Like, I don't really care, but you know, if you want to make sure that she doesn't start attacking you, and she will, I've seen it. You better put some more likes down there. Wow, you're very opinionated there, Magnetar. You need to live and let live. You need to calm down over there, man. I didn't know I'd be starting a flame war by saying I didn't like Supernatural. She's ravenous, boys. She'll do it. Oh, see, Mandy Mortem, she knows what she's doing. Like, she did a little bit extra there. She wined, dined, and valentined. I started this. I, I don't know, man. See, I'm not really that passionate about Game of Thrones, so or actually, no, you could call pretty much anything I like trash, and I'd be okay with it because I know that people have different opinions. I think my favorite show would be Breaking Bad, so I think that would be the closest to butthurt you could make me. Either Breaking Bad or The Office. If you start dunking on those, maybe you might elicit some emotion, but probably not. We we lost a leg. That's so opinionated. Everyone's so angry. Oh, see, oh, there you go. See, Magnetar's on my side for Breaking Bad. Oh, PA. I might like Supernatural someday. Who knows? Uh-oh. Oh man, I had one dislike for a second there and then it went away. Hey, give me back my dislike. I value dislike. I value likes and dislike all the same. You know, I don't hate. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time since I saw that show. So I don't even know what the mystery spot episode is. Ah, there we go. Everyone's gonna start disliking it. I'm not insulting Supernatural. I'm talking about other stuff. It's okay at 42. I have 3 dislikes too. Man, people so touchy about Supernatural. If you want me to be honest about it, you know, I was actually thinking of watching it because I haven't watched it in a long time. But no, I don't know. With people getting so cranky about it, I'm not so sure about it anymore. The Mass Effect games were actually pretty great. I love the Mass Effect games. I liked all 3, but I'm not sure which Mass Effect game would be my favorite. I think because I mostly just see them like all as a whole. I don't really separate them all that much. But I'd say maybe my favorite one was maybe the 3rd one, just because of how cinematic and how good the graphics are and stuff. But in terms of story, I think the 2nd one would probably be better. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Fearsome, I'm just being honest. Like, I like to dunk on Supernatural just because it amuses me. But if I'm being honest, then, you know, I was thinking about rewatching it, but I'm probably not going to, but I was thinking about it. Oh man, that's way too deep. Magnetar. You know what? I'll just say which one my favorite is, and I'll go with Star Trek. And I think that even then, it's mostly just because William Shatner is lame. I love his one-liners. And I really love like the really lame fight sequences in the original. Plus, the original has Leonard Nimoy in it. I love Leonard Nimoy. There's no sign of intelligent life anywhere, Captain. Okay, so I better get to doing what I was actually set out to do here instead of arguing with the chat about Supernatural here. I'm not really sure what talking in the trash can means, but I'm sure whatever it is good. Okay. Well, I'm not, like, I wouldn't insult pie because I love pie. I like food in general. Probably too much. Okay, so let's get back to the reading here. What am I doing? Here we go. I'm reading this one right here. "42, why would you do that? That's really rude. That really hurts my feelings when you say stuff like that to me." Okay. Have I even started recording? No, I haven't. Watch as Silver juggles everything and accomplishes nothing. There we go. Oh, no, wrong one. Okay, I'll take one last look at the chat there. Okay, so Fearsome Hero is dead. 2 PA. That's a good point to leave there. I'll collab with you, Magnetar. I like collabing with people. DM me later. I'll collab with you. I ain't scared. Okay. I was born deaf, but had my hearing restored. I'm now hearing things I'm not supposed to. By Gray Buildings 679. Is that appearing on the stream? Yes, it is. Okay. I never minded being deaf, and in fact, I preferred it as I got older. I know that I was expected to feel lonely, even isolated, but I loved the silence. It allowed me to move through life without distraction. I only had to turn on Fox News to be glad and reminded that my genetic predisposition was saving me from a massive headache of all the unnecessary noise in the world. My parents, on the other hand, saw my disability as some sort of personal slight to them. As if God was sticking out a thick middle... Oh, that's how mature I am. That's the image of God sticking out a middle finger is amusing to me. As if God was sticking out a thick middle finger when I was born. Barbara and Louis Cascade, with their perfect upper middle class existence, were not supposed to have a deaf daughter. I was exactly how they wanted me to look, with corn silk blonde hair, porcelain skin, and bright blue eyes. But to them, I was like a beautiful piece of pottery with a large, unsightly crack down the middle. Useless. They tried everything. Surgeries, naturopathic doctors, acupuncture, anything that might fix me. When nothing did, they conceded. There was always that lingering feeling of disappointing them, even though I excelled at school, had a great job, and married a dream of a husband named Teddy. I think that is why I agreed to the surgery. I wanted to finally make them happy, give them the daughter they always wanted. A perfect daughter that could hear. It was a restorative experimental procedure that was to be performed by a renowned... What? Otolaryngologist? Ooh. I have to take a look how to pronounce break. What even is that? Well, what is that even a word? Are people making stuff up now? That doesn't help. How to say? I have no idea if you guys...
Otolaryngology.
Otolaryngology. Okay. I have no idea if you guys were able to hear that. Otolaryngology.
Otolaryngology.
Okay, then. It was a restorative experimental procedure that was to be performed by a renowned otolaryngologist named Dr. Wilson Hubbard, who was based near my hometown on the outskirts of Seattle. The doctor was very clear that there was a high probability of failure, and that he was still working on the nuances of the operation. At my parents' insistence and pocketbook, he agreed to take me on as a patient, clearing his schedule. It all happened so fast that Teddy wasn't able to get off to work. What? It all happened so fast that Teddy was unable to get off of work. So I was forced to fly out of Boston by myself, greeting my hopeful but anxious parents in Seattle. We went to the hospital where Dr. Hubbard dumbed down the surgery to the most pedestrian of terms. I nodded along, not really taking in anything he was saying. Hey, that's me. I do that for pretty much everything. I'll take a quick chat break here. See what the chat's doing. Oh, I offered a collab with you, Magnetar, after you cried, and now you're saying no. That's sad. Oof. Otolaryngology, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of anger in the chat. Not really. Well, Magnetar, you've hurt my feelings, and I don't know what to say anymore. I don't think I'll ever come back from this, really. Well, thanks, Brandy. I appreciate that. Anger, rage. Magnetar, I don't hate you. I love you. You're amazing. I love your videos, and I love how you're so passionate in the chat and in my Discord. You're a great person, Magnetar. Magnetar, I will fight your hatred with love. No worries, Fearsome. I'm a lurk. It's okay. Soon you will. Soon you will. Okay, let's get back to this. The night before the operation, I lay on my old bed, FaceTiming Teddy. I had become acutely skilled at reading lips over the years. "I love you too," I said, signing with my hands, before turning off the lights and drifting to sleep. I was given anesthesia, and when I woke from the surgery, a nurse was there to help me, calling my parents and the doctor to let me know I was conscious. "How are you feeling, Kaylee?" said Dr. Hubbard, stroking his white beard. He reminded me of a slimmed-down version of the KFC Colonel Sanders. "I'm okay. There's some pain in my..." I stopped, and Dr. Hubbard gave me an amused smile. I can hear my voice," I stammered. "Oh my God!" My mom began crying, as her and my dad wrapped their arms around me, brimming with joy. "Thank you, Dr. Hubbard." "Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Duck Hubbard." "Thank you, Dr. Hubbard. Thank you," Mom said in tears. She sounded like I expected her to, high-pitched and jarring. My dad's voice, on the other hand, was low and smooth, pleasant. We went back to my parents' house and I called Teddy to let him know that the surgery was, as far as I could tell, a success. I'm not sure what voice I'd give him. I don't know, him and the doctor might sound awful similar. That's amazing," he said, and I was so glad to find his voice melodic. "I'm swamped at work, but I'll try to get there as soon as I can. Promise." When my parents and I sat down for dinner, I could still feel a bit of pressure in my ears, but overall felt normal. I was talking excitedly about some of my new favorite sounds when I heard something. It was like my mother's voice, except in the faintest of whispers. "It's a shame she has the same voice." "What?" I said, and both my parents looked at me. "Did you just say something about my voice?" My mom's voice turned ashen. "No, dear. Nobody said anything about your voice." She gripped her glass of Chardonnay, taking a long sip. I turned my attention towards her and could hear something else. It was a sound that I would later identify as a squeaky wheel. A low ambient noise, almost undetectable. There was something else, too. A hushed but warm hum. "Bum bum 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 bum, mashed potatoes." I looked over to my dad, who was heaping another spoonful of potatoes on his plate. I caught his glance and he gave me a small wave. Over the next few days, I came to discover it wasn't just my parents that I could hear, but everyone. That each person carried with them their own individual and unique sound. Most of the time, just a background noise that was so faint I could barely hear it. I would occasionally come across a thought in words, but for the most part, it was just an audible sensation. I spent my days on YouTube listening to as many sounds as I could, so that I could identify the noises that I heard from the people around me. Mrs. Tucker, a pleasant woman across the street who was a wonderful cook, had a noise that I could best describe like teeth being sunk into fried chicken. The mailman's sound reminded me of rain falling on stones. Roger, my parents' gardeners, sounded like a deck of cards being shuffled. They weren't all pleasant sounds, though. I ran into an old English teacher of mine from school, Mr. McGrath, a surly man who sounded like a choir of farts. A mixture of... Oh boy, this Mr. McGrath sounds like a great guy. What are people doing in the chat here? I can't do the sound effects right now, Richard. That's in post-editing. I can't start running around making random sounds right now. Yes. Yes, they are. I don't care for it, really. Do sound effects with my mouth? So you want me to start, like, making fart sounds for the guy? You believe in my cart sound ability. My fart sound ability. Okay. Well, I don't. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm good enough to make fart sounds. I'm too nervous. I'm scared. What if my fart sounds aren't good enough? What if people judge me for making bad fart sounds? Nini, I have to check the chat every once in a while. I'm not always just procrastinating. Although procrastinating is something I do a lot too. Oh, good. I mean, I would expect nothing less. If no one here was judging me, then honestly, it would be a failed it would be a failed stream if no one was judging me at all. If everyone agrees with you, then that means you're not making good content. I heard that from somewhere, probably somewhere on the internet. Therefore, it's true. Oh, are you sending dog pics, 42? I don't think you could post that in the chat. Richard, you came here specifically to listen to my fart sounds? to judge. All right, gotcha. Okay, I'm on board now. Yes, well, basically, what this stream ends up being is just me lining I'm basically just standing up against the wall, and people are just pillaring me with rotten tomatoes. Except everyone here is actually kind of nice, so at least so the tomatoes are, they're not rotten. They're nice and juicy tomatoes, but at the end of the day, I'm still getting hit with fruit. Or am I getting hit with vegetables? Fight in the chat about that. Okay. All right, so if you guys are done... Nini, you're one of the nicest people ever. You just like to pretend. She's always saying that she is the darkness. Which she is. I have to say that legally or she'll kill me. Everyone, please take a moment to go check out the video of 42's dog. Oh, Fearsome is taking a stand on the tomato debate. Gina is saying that vegetable is a social construct. Which may or may not be true, I don't know. I've never looked into the etymology of the term vegetable. OPA. We all know that. You're seeing exclusive 42's dog content. Exclusive to SilverThreads. Come on down to SilverThreads and see 42's dog. Man, if my entire channel was just dedicated to your dog, it would blow up. I didn't say entomology. I said etymology. Those are two different things, Magnetar. You spelt it wrong, Magnetar. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to use a big word and confuse you there, Magnetar. Etymology means the origin of a word. Does that make you feel better? I do not know the origin of vegetables. Or the word vegetables. Entomology is is a subject to study. I don't actually know what entomology is. I just know it's not the same as etymology. Oh, and I see Magnetar he's fighting back a little now. There you go. Entomology. Thank you, Magnetar, the study of insects. And now look up etymology, and you will see what I was referring to. It really seemed to bug him. Oh man, this is getting way too educational about vegetables here. This is just, this is just showing how much I don't know. 42. What's it with you people? Like, I take a couple minutes to talk to the chat, and you guys are all like, get back to recording. Fine, I'll go back to doing my job then. Jesus Christ. Can't talk to the chat without people freaking out. No, it's good, Brandy. You're good. You're all good. Although, to answer your question, procrastination does count as watch hours. Mm-hmm. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about the fart man. Okay. I ran into an old English teacher of mine from school, Mr. McGrath, a surly man who sounded like a choir of farts. A mixture of small toots and wet thundering rips. I had to suppress myself from laughing, listening to the ricocheting flatulence as we made small talk. A few people had music as their sound, not the simple rhythm of my father, but complex, wonderful arias that left me speechless. I was walking down the street and stopped in front of our neighbor Leah Silverstein's house, an older woman and Holocaust survivor. I could hear her sound even at a distance, a devastating and hauntingly beautiful music that left me standing still, unable to move as tears fell down my face. My favorite sound, though, belonged to children. I'm not sure why it was, but I found that all children had the same sound, unlike adults. It was a mixture of giggles and laughter, hearty and cheerful. If I went down by a playground or a school, I could hear the collective noise of joy and happiness, a magnificent orchestra that made my heart swell every time. I was shopping in the downtown area, marveling at my new reality, a life full of sounds. All I had to do was shift my focus to a person and I could hear them. Tugboats, wolf howls, rustling leaves, and the sound of milk being poured onto Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. Then I heard something, a vociferous boom that rang through my head, paralyzing me. It was like nails against a chalkboard. I could hear a word cutting through, clear and awful, repeating, hurt, hurt, hurt. I held my breath, my mind spinning, as I staggered in the direction the noise was coming from. The closer I came in proximity to it, the more pain I felt, like spikes were being lodged into my temples. Sweat poured down my face, and I felt like I might collapse. I looked up from the ground to find myself standing in front of a dilapidated hotel, the kind that looks like it charges by the hour instead of the day. In front of me was a door, marked with the number 3. I called the police, giving them my location, lying and telling them I could hear screaming from inside the room. When they arrived, I stood back watching as they knocked on the door. An unremarkable older man answered as he opened the door. I could hear another noise, the soft piano. The soft sound of piano being played, and an undeniable word. Help. You guys are probably yelling at me in the chat. The truth comes out. All right, boys. So, I forgot to press the record button, so I got to repeat some of that. Sorry to everybody. Can't you tell how professional I am? I definitely know what I'm doing here. Okay. Honestly, I'm shocked that so many PA, I don't appreciate... what's with this abuse? Like, why are you so abusive today, PA? You're hurting my feelings. You're hurting my feelers. Press F to pay respects. Okay. Alright, boys and girls, I get to repeat from this point because I forgot to press record. Love you! Oh, well, I got to have a practice round. It's not all bad. At least not from my end. I ran into an old English teacher of mine from school, Mr. McGrath, a surly man who sounded like a choir of farts. A mixture of small toots and wet thundering rips. I had to suppress myself from laughing, listening to the ricocheting flatulence as we made small talk. Small talk, like flatulence, is basically all I hear whenever I do small talk with anyone, really. A few people had music as their sound. A few people had music as their sound. Not the simple rhythm of my father, but complex, wonderful arias that left me speechless. I was walking down the street and stopped in front of our neighbor, Leah Silverstein's house, an older woman and Holocaust survivor. I could hear her sound even at a distance, a devastating and hauntingly beautiful music that left me standing still, unable to move as tears fell down my face. My favorite sound, though, belonged to children. I'm not sure why it was, but I found that all children had the same sound, unlike adults. It was a mixture of giggles and laughter, hearty and cheerful. If I went by a playground or school, I could hear the collective noise of joy and happiness, a magnificent orchestra that made my heart swell every time. I was shopping in the downtown area, marveling at my new reality, a life full of sounds. All I had to do was shift my focus to a person and I could hear them. Tugboats, wolf howls, rustling leaves, the sound of milk being poured onto Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. Then I heard something. A vociferous boom that rang out through my head, paralyzing me. It was like nails against a chalkboard. I could hear a word cutting through, clear and awful, repeating, hurt, hurt, hurt. I held my breath, my mind spinning as I staggered in the direction the noise was coming from. The closer I became in proximity to it, the more pain I felt, like spikes were being lodged into my temples. Sweat poured down my face, and I felt like I might collapse. I looked up from the ground to find myself standing in front of a dilapidated hotel, the kind that looks like it charges by the hour instead of the day. In front of me was a door, marked with the number 3. I called the police, giving them my location, lying and telling them I could hear screaming from inside the room. When they arrived, I stood back, watching as they knocked on the door. An unremarkable older man answered. An unremarkable older man answered, guys. Jesus. An unremarkable older man answered as he opened the door. No, I did it right the first time. An unremarkable older man answered. As he opened the door, I could hear another noise. The soft sound of piano being played, and an undeniable word. Help. There's someone in there! I screamed, unable to contain myself. The police officers pushed through, much to the man's protest. From where I was, I could see her, a young girl bound to the bed, in just her underwear, a plastic bag covering her head. Damn, that got dark fast. I saw the man arrested, and the girl, whoever she was, rescued. To my relief, as the bag was removed, the music that was so faint increased in volume. I left before the police could ask me any questions. Although I didn't tell anyone, not even Teddy, about my newfound abilities. I made the decision to confide in Dr. Hubbard after the incident at the motel. I sat in his exceptionally clean, white office during my check-in and told him everything. He sat back listening, his owl-like eyes studying me intently. Just curious, what is my sound? He said. It's like the crunch of fresh snow underneath boots. It's lovely, I said with a smile. This made him chuckle. The ear is a fascinating thing, and I can only surmise at what you're experiencing, or why for that matter. The procedure is reversible though, Kaylee. I would be happy to... He trailed off. I shook my head. No, there's so many wonderful things about it. I couldn't imagine shutting it off now. It was not long afterwards, though, that I thought differently about the sounds. It was not long afterwards, though, that I thought differently about the sounds. I was in my parents' kitchen making lunch and chatting with their... cleaner Anita, who sounded like coarse hands being rubbed together, when it hit me. It was a sound that took my breath away. Children screaming and crying in pain, as if they were being tortured and maimed. I could hear them yelling in anguish. It was excruciating, the noise penetrating and inescapable. Said that wrong. I could hear them yelling in anguish. It was excruciating, the noise penetrating and inescapable. It enveloped me, and I could physically feel the sound, like knives tearing away at my flesh. I began to cry. A wave of nausea crippled me, and I sunk to the floor. In front of me, I saw the front door begin to open. Teddy's beaming smile came into view. "Surprise!" he called into the house. There was a look of concern as he saw me braced on the floor. He came over. "Kaylee, are you okay? What's wrong?" I looked at him in horror, the children's cries echoing in my head, even louder now. My beloved Teddy, my husband, and bearer of the worst sound in the world. I wonder what Teddy was up to. Probably not good things. Let's see what the chat's doing. How you doing, chat? Oh. People saying F in the chat. I'm not sure what the F is supposed to mean. I think it's supposed to be good. Bye, Magnetar. I can't wait to collab with you, Magnetar. Love you. Magnetar is such a little scamp. Chat has calmed down quite a bit. I don't have like a long list to catch up on every time now. But that's not really a problem, having a list to catch up on. Oh, I see. Okay, I know. Yeah, the press F to pay respects, like the meme for Call of Duty. I just wasn't sure why you guys were pressing F. Next time on... Oh, Richard, you just doxed me. No one knows my real name until now. That's not true. I've actually said my real name in the... I don't know if I've said it in the Twitterverse, but I have told people my first name. Yes, everyone, my first name is Neil. Thanks, Richard. Next time on Neil's live stream. He reads more stories and continues to not know what he's talking about. Well, thank you, Eurex. I pride myself in my high amount of silliness. Hey, no problem at all, Brandy. Thanks for coming for as long as you did. And have fun with, helping your family with their pets. Oh, I see. Oh, so it's going to be a lot of work then. Well, have fun with that. I wish I just had random livestock. Okay, so let's get everything set up here. Fearsome, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. I'll choose to see it as a compliment. I mean, although it's not really a compliment or an insult. Like, Neil? Ugh, you sound like a Neil. Why, yes, I do. No problem, Richard. I've told people my first name before. What flows better? Saying my first name instead of my username? Most people on the internet calls me Silver. So most people actually know me by Silver on here, Richard. I wasn't going to say anything, but Richard is actually one of my best flesh friends in real life. I just doxed him now. I knew who Richard was the whole time. I pulled the rug out from you guys. Yeah, see, like I'm pretty sure, like I was saying my first, excuse me, I did say my first name in some of my videos, and then I just kind of stopped doing it. Although, if you guys want to give me a different first name, I'm open to ideas. So Silver's cool. I should put that on my birth certificate. Really, I love the word silver. Yeah, Gina, a fleshy friend. A flesh friend. I know, like, I just had a week off, and I saw my flesh friend several times, and Richard was there both times. And, like, I don't know, man. I think his flesh smell is starting to rub off on me. Them dang flesh friends falling off of the trees everywhere and getting in my way. Demanding my attention and affection. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, so I finished Born Deaf. Of course, you did name me Thready the Teddy. So I guess that's my legal name now, everybody. It's Thready the Teddy. And next time on Neil's stream. I don't know, next time on Silver's stream also works pretty good. Honestly, the name Neil is kind of dorky. I mean, that's okay because I'm kind of dorky, but, you know, I'm trying to maintain an image here of someone who procrastinates between stories, and I think I'm doing a good job. To be fair, I never actually said I wouldn't be procrastinating. Instead of your ex, just your ex. Yerks. I mean, I have an actual ex's name that I could fill into your name. Although the ex that I have, I was dating her in like middle school, so a lot of people we don't even have a sexual history. Like, most people wouldn't even consider it a real ex. It a real ex, her a real ex. Or maybe it was a he. Am I gay? Who knows? It's a mystery. That'll weed out the homophobes. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I should probably do this whole stream thing, shouldn't I? Have fun fighting cannibals. You're next. I wish you good luck. I don't know why people got to be killing some cannibals, man. Why are people so against cannibals? They're just trying to live their life, eat their food. You know, just because they eat things that we don't like doesn't mean they don't deserve to live. Who's to say that eating your neighbor is a bad thing? Which friend of yours there, PA? I mean, I'm not gonna leave the stream, but you know, I might open a window, you know, give them some watch time. At the very least. Ooh, the tension is killing me. Although he may already be gone, who knows? Oh, hey, look, As the News Titans is here. Hello. Yeah, have at her, PA. Go ahead. I mean, I am gonna keep doing this, but it's okay if people wanna pop off and watch their stuff as well. Nate Nelson. I've seen him around Twitter. Noose is on the loose. Okay, gonna switch some screens around here. There you go. Go say hi to Nate Nelson, everybody. Drop a like, give him a subscribe, do all the fun stuff. I'll be here for the next little while. Or heck, you can even have two tabs open if you want to feel dangerous. Yeah. Go show Nate Nelson some love. Nate Nelson, robots in disguise. $34 subs. I thought I would have assumed he had more. I don't know why. Just because he just seemed comfortable in the community. So I guess I just assumed that he'd been around for a while. Okay, let's get this party started here. Ah, see, Fearsome here knows what she's doing. Thanks, Nini. I can always count on you. I can't. That's how long my attention is. I keep forgetting what I'm doing in between. I keep forgetting what I'm doing in between, like answering the chat and then going to do the thing, and then, man, it's bad. My memory's bad. Yeah, Fearsome. I've been getting a very slow but steady stream of subs over the last little while. It hasn't happened fast, but it's been steady. Honestly, every time I even get one more subscriber, it still blows my mind. I'm like, holy crap, people actually want to watch me? Okay. Okay, so now I actually am going to start this new one here. Does anyone remember? See, I pressed record that time, so I'm learning from past mistakes, guys. Does anyone remember this story? By Sleepy Hollow _101. No. By Sleepy Hollow 101. I read this story on some horror forum online. God, it must have been 10 years ago now, maybe? Maybe more? God, it must have been 10 years ago now. Maybe more? It always stuck with me. I don't know why. It wasn't particularly well written, and the concept has been done to death. But even now, all these years later, I'll catch myself thinking about it. Or I'll see a picture on the wall and I'll remember. The story went something like this. A guy moves into a house. It's old, has a lot of history, he gets it cheap. So he gets settled in. Everything is perfect. And then a few weeks later, he discovers there's a woman in one of the paintings on the walls. A woman who wasn't there before. It's a landscape painting. She's wearing some sort of old-fashioned clothing. Maybe Victorian? Probably Victorian. That's how all these stories go. She's got long black hair and pale skin and deep, staring eyes. Looking at her sort of creeps him out. He thinks he just hadn't noticed her before. Tries to write it off as the fallibility of the human brain. But then she shows up in another painting. And then in family photos. He starts seeing her in the background. It gets worse when she starts showing up in mirrors. And now the guy's hearing creaks and bumps in the night. Feels like he's being watched. Sees things out of place that he can't account for. Finally, he wakes up one day, walks downstairs, and finds images of the woman sketched over every square inch of the walls. And every drawing seems to stare directly at him. It was one of those stories that had a picture with it. It was supposedly one of the walls with the woman sketched over and over on it. The sketching wasn't very good, but there was something unsettling about the picture all the same. Like I said, not the best one out there. We never find out who the woman is or why she's tormenting the poor narrator. We don't know why she suddenly appears on the walls. There's no resolution, and the climax leaves something to be desired. And yet, I tried to find the story again, but I never could. Maybe the author deleted it? I wish they hadn't. I'd like to see that picture again. A few weeks ago, my mom asked my help in going through some of Great-Grandma's things. We come from a family of pack rats with a strong interest in genealogy, meaning that throughout generations, we've kept and recorded just about everything, squirreling it away to sit untouched in our attics. My mom inherited a lot of these artifacts of her family history from her mother, and since I'm the only one of his children who's shown an interest in her ancestry, I'll inherit them after she dies. So it was in my interest to help her sort through Great-Grandma's things, and maybe convince her to get rid of some of the more damaged items if I could. We ended up bringing her photo albums downstairs, and spent part of the afternoon just paging through them, Mom pointing out the people she knew, which was most of them. And then we came to this one picture. It wasn't in a sleeve. It wasn't in a sleeve. It had been just tucked between two random pages. It was an old black and white Polaroid of a woman in a long dress. She was staring impassively at the camera, her mouth twisted into a slight frown. She had this beautiful long hair and piercing eyes. Her hands were folded in front of her. And something about her just felt familiar. I asked my mom who she was, but she couldn't place her. There wasn't anything written on the back of the photo to give us a clue. The last time my mom had looked at the album had been years. Over a decade, maybe more. She didn't recall ever having seen the picture. Couldn't imagine she would have left it there, out of place as it was. I asked her if I could take it with me on a whim, and she agreed. I couldn't get that strange sense of familiarity out of my head. It wasn't until I'd gotten all the way home and through my front door that it hit me. She looked like the woman in the story. Obviously, there hadn't been any good pictures of the woman in the story, just drawings. What I mean is that she looked exactly like I'd imagined her. Down to the curved wave in her hair and the placement of her hands. That's when I remembered another detail of the story that I'd long forgotten. The woman had her hands clasped in front of her in every picture. But in the drawings on the walls, she was reaching out as if to grab the narrator. I called my mom and told her about the story in the picture. I could tell she thought I was reading too much into things. She's a pretty practical and skeptical person. She did agree to go through great-grandma's writings and papers to see if she could figure out who the woman could be. The next time I spoke to her was at my brother Nathan's memorial. It was just a few days after we found the picture. 10 years ago, Nathan was found in his home, his throat cut. He was only 34. Although the police investigation into his death picked up momentum almost immediately, nobody was ever charged for the crime. Our family has thoughts on who might have done it, but we've never been able to prove anything. We probably never will. Each year on the anniversary of his death, we have a little family gathering to remember and mourn. So we were at Mom's house, looking through old pictures of my brother and remembering. Mom had already told me that she hadn't found any information on the picture we'd found days before. It was about what I expected. I had decided to just stow the picture away and forget about it when I came across this certain picture of my brother. It was from his housewarming party, taken just a few months before his death. He was standing with his arm around me, and we were both making these stupid faces at the camera. I've looked at that photo thousands of times by now, but this was the first time I really noticed the painting in the background. It was a landscape painting, showing rolling hills dotted with trees, and there, standing next to one of the trees, was a figure. I had to squint to make it out, but it looked like a person. A woman. I was distracted for the rest of the memorial. I took the pictures with me when I went home, and I just sat there and stared at it, wishing I could see the painting a little better. With that story on my mind and the picture Mom and I had found, it was hard not to connect the dots, even though I was half convinced the dots I was connecting didn't actually exist. Clearly, I was reading too much into it. Nathan's death was hard on me, and I'm always a little off around the anniversary. I was seeing things that weren't there as a way of coping with the fact that my big brother's murderer will probably never face the justice for what he did. I put both of the pictures in my bedside drawer. I'll take a chat break, see what's going on there. Cool, PA. That's awesome. PA is always everywhere. He's at every single premiere at all times. Oh, I didn't actually stop the recording. Oh, yes, I did. I forgot it's delayed. PA just has this magical ability to be everywhere at once. Oh, I see. Well, you do a pretty good job. I mean, that's really how I met you, because I just saw you everywhere and I was like, this guy must be neat. Oh, his premiere hasn't even started yet. Well, I'll just go ahead and give him a like there. I'll mute his stream and just have him kind of playing in the background. Oh, I'm already subbed to him. I guess I must have liked him a while ago. Moonface by Jack London. PA, why do you hate the music? Why are you hating on the music, man? The music's awesome. Now I'm just looking at the chat and I'm looking at someone else's chat. All right. So I'll just get back to what I'm doing here. I really like the picture that he's using there for his background in his video. I'll say, hi, Ladies Bucaria. Hi, Fearsome. Okay. I just like to give you. I just like to say, just saying a quick hello over there. Good, good, good. Okay, let's resume. Make sure I actually press the record button this time. There we go. I put both of the pictures in my bedside drawer and decided to leave well enough alone. Maybe another day when I was feeling more like myself, I'd look at them again. Maybe another day when I was feeling more like myself, I'd look at them again. Maybe. Weeks passed by, and gradually my uneasiness faded. It became easier to see it was all as a product of my imagination. I've always been the imaginative sort anyway. And then, yesterday, I got up to get dressed for work and walked into the bathroom. As I passed by the mirror, I saw someone else was standing in there with me. A woman with dark, wavy hair and piercing eyes. Her hands folded primly. What? Primly. Okay, I got it. A woman with dark, wavy hair and piercing eyes. Her hands folded primly in front of her. I whirled around only to find myself alone. When I turned back to the mirror, her image was gone. It was her. I'm sure it was her. I haven't stopped thinking about her since then. Or that story. Was it a story? Did I get all the details right? Maybe she showed up in the mirror first. Was that it? What exactly happened after that? The story ended with her image scrawled all over the walls. But what came after that? Did the person ever write an update? I need to find the author. I need to know if it was who I think it was, and if so, why he didn't tell me what was going on. Is it somewhere in his journals? If you remember this story, please help me find it. Something terrible is about to happen. It's already happening to me, and I need answers. And I'm afraid the only one who could give them to me is dead. And I'm afraid the only one who could give them to me is dead. Or is he? Bum, bum, bum. That was a good one. I like that one. I won't lie. It kind of gave me... I got a little bit of a chills towards the end there. Well, a little bit of a chills. I'm sorry, PA. You, I'll say hi to you too. There we go. There, I fixed it. Yeah, I really like that one. I also look forward to listening to Nate's story a little bit later. Moonface. I can't get over the picture that he's using. It's all spooky looking. Hey, 42. So I have one story to read. People are watching Nate's video. Nate is premiering a video right now, and some people kind of went off there to go watch it. Some people are watching them both at the same time. Apparently it's funny. 42, when does yours premiere? Hi, Nini. Seven Eastern. Oh, okay, so there's still about an hour left until yours. What are you whining about then, 42? I can post the link to his channel here there for you, Gina. There you go. I already subbed to him, so I can't increase his subscribers, unfortunately. Damn, we're just gonna keep lighting up the chat with his streams, or with his links, I should say. Nini, are you do you literally have the sound on both videos? Isn't that distracting? Like listening to his story and then me in the background, you know, talking to you about nonsense. Oh, hello. Okay, guys. So I have one story left. I'm just gonna I'm gonna bang this last one out here. Well, no wonder you're zoning out there then, Nini. Getting two flourishes of sounds in your ears. Okay. Let's get everything all set up here. Does anyone remember? Okay. There we go. Got that one there. My diary is a day ahead of me. Now, wouldn't that be cool? Man, you people are way better at multitasking than me. Like, if I hear anything like, if something even slightly distracts me from what I'm listening to, like, I have to, like, stop the thing that's distracting me. Like, if two people talk to me at once, I'm gone. If I'm listening to something and someone talks to me, like, I can either listen to the person talking to me or I can listen to the stream. I can't do both. It just gets all jumbled in my brain and it means nothing. Okay. Let's get this final party started. My diary is a day ahead of me. By N.S. Lewis. After the incident, my therapist urged me to keep a diary. The incident occurred last year, and a long, short story. Oh, damn it. The incident occurred last year, and, long story short, involved me attempting to burn down the local Catholic church in the middle of the night. This guy doesn't sound so bad. No, I'm kidding. The fallout from that adventure was handled discreetly, as such things usually are when you have wealthy parents. But I did not get off scot-free, and had to endure various forms of punishment. Chief among them, having to keep a goddamn diary. Kate, my therapist, who happened to be my father's chum, had said, "Your reluctance to talk about your feelings, I believe, is a large part of why you act out. And since you clearly have trust issues, perhaps we can kill two birds with one stone, as they say, and you can keep a journal where you talk to yourself about what happens every day and how you feel about it. Perhaps once you learn to trust yourself, you can start to trust others, and then you can talk to them about your feelings. All I ever wrote in that diary was a bunch of bullshit that I thought would make my parents, who snuck into my room every day to read the thing, satisfied enough to leave me alone. That's all I ever wrote in it, anyway, until the day I met Red, when I recorded that experience with breathless awe, with complete earnestness, and then hid the journal away where nobody could find it. That felt a bit janky. That's all I ever wrote in it anyway. Until the day I met Red, when I recorded that experience with breathless awe, with complete earnestness, and then hid the journal away where nobody could find it. Before I share that first entry, I want to be absolutely clear that I wrote this account after I experienced the events it discusses. I clearly remember sitting in my bed, opening the drawer of my nightstand, withdrawing a pen and the diary, and writing the following. Sunday, October 18th, 2020. Dear Diary, holy shit! Red. Where did he come from? Where has he been hiding my entire life? It doesn't matter. I found him, standing there in Heritage Park in the most ridiculous outfit. Now that I think about it, he didn't have a scrap of red on him anywhere. Every other color, though. A patchwork of all the other colors of the rainbow, and many more besides. Stitched together A patchwork of all the other colors of the rainbow, and many more besides. Stitched together as by the world's most deranged grandmother. And his hair, long and thick and black, but no red. My name's Red, he said, as I was walking past him, on my way to the coffee shop. I hadn't paid him any mind yet, and at the time he seemed like just another desperate performer, same as anyone. What's your name, sweetheart? Fuck off, I said. Fuck off? Fuck off, said Red. That sounds Russian. Are you Russian, young lady? I stopped walking and turned to face him. He had deep blue eyes. Nope, I said. I'm American, through and through. But you were Russian, weren't you? Off to the coffee shop, perhaps? I suppose that's rather an American thing to do. Always rushing around. It's all perfectly consistent. It all makes perfect sense. I looked to the ground where Red had placed a top hat upside down, which had $3 or $4 bills inside of it, along with some loose change. All right, so what's your deal then? You just stand here and do dad jokes? No, that's just how I draw them in. A little buffoonish humor. So what do you do? I asked, deciding that if he didn't give a good enough answer, I'd keep walking. Many things, young lady, many things. But for you, I will show you things as they truly are, not as people pretend them to be. It's not a talent I use often, but something about you tells me that you are ready to see through the facade. Am I right? I suppose that I was in for a cheap magic trick or something like that, but had to, sadly, admit to myself that this was already the most interesting thing that had happened to me in several weeks. Sure, I said. Good. Now, look over yonder. Red swung his multicolored arm out and pointed at a man jogging through the park. There was nothing unusual about the man. He was very fit and attractive, dressed in a tank top that barely contained his bulging muscles, and he was dripping with sweat, listening to music of some kind. Or maybe just an inspirational recording of his own voice saying, "You are an incredible specimen. Nothing can stop you." In short, he made my stomach turn. But then most people did that. So? I asked, turning back to Red. Did you really look? Try again. I sighed with disappointment. Don't know what I thought would happen, but looked again at the jogging man. This time, he was quite different. Now he was simian, looking for all the world like a giant monkey, with a monkey face and monkey limbs. He was dressed in the same sort of absurd garb that Red was wearing, with tattered bits of blue and yellow and pink flapping around. As he moved along in a waddle, lifting each leg high and bringing it down somewhere off to the side, like a big, awkward crab monkey clown. I laughed, partly out of shock and partly out of delight. "How did you do that?" I asked. "That man is your sidekick, no? And you had a monkey hiding in the bushes that he switched out when I wasn't looking." "Not at all, dear. The monkey is the man. I have, as promised, merely shown you things as they really are. Or rather, things as they are beneath the first layer. It's what you've always suspected, isn't it? That the world is full of people pretending to be something they're not? That once you strip the pretense away, people are simply dumb monkeys waddling through life in a comically exaggerated fashion, without any real purpose? You can sense that it's true, but the deceit is great enough to trick your very eyes. You see men and women, dressed to the nines, approaching life with a deadly seriousness, and you begin to doubt yourself. Well, doubt yourself no more! You have seen the truth." An eerie feeling passed over me, and for a moment, I believed what he said. But when I looked at the jogging man for the third time, he was only that, a man going on a late morning jog. No, really, how did you do that? Would you like to see even deeper? Yes, I said, without hesitation. Then come back tomorrow. Same place, same time. I will, I said. Then I remembered that I had school. I was down to my final warning and couldn't afford to miss another class. Oh, shit, I can't. Will you be here later in the afternoon? I will certainly try to be. For now, I must move on. Red bent down, scooped the money out of his hat, and stuffed it into an enormous pocket. I felt a sudden pang of guilt as I didn't have any cash with which to reward this man for so thoroughly entertaining me. I'm sorry, I said, but I don't have any money on me. Just a credit card. I'll bring some tomorrow, I promise. Think nothing of it, young lady, said Red, flipping the hat through the air and catching it expertly on top of his head. I do hope to see you tomorrow. Then he turned and waddled off through the park. Okay, chat break. See what's going on there. Okay. 41 Discord servers. Like, I have no idea how you do that, Nini. That's just bonkers. Like, I forget to respond when I'm direct messaging one person, let alone 41 servers. So PA, I'm getting the image of you just being like having like 20 different computers all in front of you, and you're just kind of like going through each of them like the Oracle. You know, the Batman one. Fearsome, I completely understand you paying more attention to the other one. I'm sure my feelings will recover someday. PA, I could be American. You don't know me. You don't know me. I could be American. Sometimes when I'm talking to people at work, all my clients are in the UK. They'll be like, "Hey, am I speaking to an American?" And every time I will say no, I'm Canadian. And every time I say that, they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I called you American." And then we laugh about Americans for a bit. Yes, Gina, that she is. I don't now. I'm not at all gonna claim to be an expert of Batman lore, but yes, it is Batgirl but paralyzed. I should check my Twitter. Why? What's going on Twitter? Are people blowing up my Twitter here? What? What's happening? That's beautiful, Fearsome. So now I could just listen to that sentence back to back forever. Now I'm going to be known as the fart guy for all of time. Aw, idiotic synergy said I was a genuinely nice person. I managed to fool someone. Okay, well, that was beautiful, Fearsome. I'm so glad that you did that. I will be known for the rest of time as the fart guy. There are worse things to be known by. Fine, fine, fine. Okay. Are we having is there a little spat happening in the chat? Yeah, are you guys fine? Do I have to split you up? Don't make me go over there. What did the same thing for Coco? What are you talking about, Fearsome? Or okay, never mind. I think I know what you're saying. Okay. Just a quick peek back, look at what you guys are doing. Is his video still going? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it ended 37 seconds ago. Well, he has 10 likes, so not bad. Oh, 42 was... Oh, what are you nagging me about, Nini? Three stories done? Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, everyone. Well, Beautiful Nightmare and PA are no longer talking. So if any of them ever talk to each other, please be sure to enforce this. Yell at them and say snarky remarks. Hey, Miss Creepy Tales, how's it going? I would put you in separate chat boxes, but I don't think that's possible. I'm like halfway through a story, MCT. Or I don't have to say MCT now. I can just say Miss Creepy Tales. Okay. All right, let's... Yes, Miss Creepy Tales, how did you sleep? Did you have any nightmares? Did you feed on anybody's fear? You know? She's probably like making dinner or something. Oh, wait, it's Monday where she is. Ew, she's going to work soon. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's see if we can finish this off here, boys and girls. Well, first I got to remember to press record, though. Don't wanna miss that step. I stood there for a long time, full of wonder, trying to figure out how he had... First sentence. I stood there for a long time, full of wonder, trying to figure out how he had done it. In the end, I decided it didn't matter, and went ahead to the coffee shop. As I was waiting in line, I began to picture the people around me as clownish monkeys, the same as the jogging man in the park. I had to hold my hand over my mouth to keep from erupting in laughter. Now I am here in bed, and I have not stopped thinking about Red all day. His magic trick was quite possibly the delight of my life. Certainly the best thing that's happened to me in years and years. A splash of colorful paint across a dull and dreary canvas of lifeless grays. I absolutely cannot wait to see him again and discover what else he has in store for me. I truly doubt anything can top what he's already done, but we'll see. Sorry, boys and girls, I gotta let my cat out. I know. She was sick of my shit. Meanwhile, I have no choice but to contain my excitement and wait until after school tomorrow. Unless I don't. I'll get in trouble, but what does it matter? It's a world full of monkey clowns. What's the worst they can do to me? Throw a pie in my face? And so I concluded my first real diary entry, hiding it inside of an old stuffed bear I found in the back of my closet. Then I settled into bed and tried to go to sleep. My excitement made that difficult, but I also felt a deep and easy peace that I hadn't known for a long time. I had a friend. Somebody who understood the world as I understood it, and was delightfully entertaining as well. And so I finally sunk into sleep, and dreamt of a carnival deep in the wild, primordial swamp where reptiles crawled out of the murky depths and devoured mountains of cotton candy. The next morning, I woke up full of energy, having resolved to ditch class and meet Red at the park. I did not want to miss him, and whatever wonderful trick he had in mind to show me. Predictably, my phone started to buzz a few minutes after I was off school grounds, so I switched it off and shoved it in my purse. Then I walked to the park, feeling light and free despite the certain punishment I would face at the end of the day. Red was standing in the same place as before, But when I approached him, I saw that he was sad. Now, at least, he had some red in him. Now, at least, he had some red to him. Though it was where his eyes should have been white. He had obviously been crying. "What's wrong?" I asked when I was close enough.
"Oh, sweetheart, I did not expect to see you at this hour,"
he said, sniffling and wiping his nose with his colorful sleeve. "Catherine," I said. "My name is Catherine. Why are you crying?"
"Catherine, a wonderful name. Forgive me, dear. I was only lamenting the fact that I've been robbed. Every hard-earned penny gone. It wasn't much, but I came by it honestly. Or maybe I didn't. I forget. It doesn't matter one bit, though, now that you're here."
I'd come prepared with 2 $100 bills, pilfered from my father's wallet. He wouldn't miss them. I dropped one into Red's hat. "This was for yesterday, and I've got another one for today. Assuming you have a new trick for me."
"You're too kind, Catherine, too kind.
I'll have to conjure up a good one,
But I'll remind you, they're not tricks. Not tricks at all. I would never trick you, Catherine. The others? Yes, of course. I will dazzle them by pulling a rabbit out of nowhere, or making a ball jump unseen from cup to cup. Cheap illusions. But for you, only the truth. Only things as they really are. 1 minute now, hold on. Okay, here comes our jogger. Same one from yesterday. Are you ready?
"Yes."
Then look.
I turned my head, expecting to be delighted again. But what I saw shocked me with its grotesquerie. The jogging man now appeared not as a comical monkey, but as someone long dead, with rotten flesh sloughing away from the bone and feasted upon by swarms of squirming worms. This alone was enough to make me retch, but what sent my mind spinning to the edge of madness was the way the thing moved. It wasn't as in the movies, when the dead came back to life and lumber around awkwardly, with crude control over their bodies, but at least some control. And that certainly would have been terrifying enough. But the uncanny corpse that I saw now appeared to be moved by several pairs of invisible hands. One set lifting a limp leg in the air here, another giving a shove from behind there, a third holding the body up from under the arms in order to prevent the entire show from collapsing. The effect was of something truly and finally dead, and not somehow reanimated, moving around in the world of the living.
"Catherine?" asked Red. "What's wrong? Are you not delighted?"
I snapped around with a rush of anger crashing through a sense of implacable dread. "It's awful," I said.
Red frowned. "My darling, you're going to make me cry again. I thought we shared an affinity for the truth."
"That's not the truth," I spat, pointing behind me, but unwilling to look in that direction again.
"But it is, at a more fundamental level. These people you all see around you are nothing but worm food, temporarily controlled by unseen forces, being moved witlessly from point A to point B until they grow too heavy and bloated to be moved around any longer. And the showrunners find fresher meat. I thought you would like to see this."
"Fuck off," I said, and I crumpled up the other $100 bill and threw it in his face. Then I walked away, keeping my eyes on the ground and trying not to break down. In my mind, I could still picture the dead jogger being forced to jog along. As he decomposed into pure rot. At one point, I looked up to see Red bend down and pick up the wad of money. Fucking fraud, I muttered, and went to bring my vision back down to my shoes, but along the way, I caught sight of another dead person. This one looked to be a woman, her clothes stained black and brown with her own fluids, jerking forward down a path in unnatural, floppy fits and starts. Then the stench hit me, and I surveyed the park head-on, and saw that it was filled with the dead going about their mindless business, dozens of them, heads bouncing on limp necks from side to side or front to back as they were shoved by invisible hands. I ran home as though myself being poked by some unseen prod, and when I swung the door open, I was greeted by my mother, though mercifully she did not appear dead. "Kate?" "Kate!" she began, and a voice hung between anger and relief. I wrapped my arms around her and started to sob. "I'm so sorry," I wailed, "about the way I've acted, the way I've been, about everything." "Shh," said my mom. "Everything's going to be okay. Mommy's here. Mommy's here for you." After a long session with my mom, in which I kept details sparse, I headed up to my room. I was going to spill my guts out to my diary, not just about the awful things that Red had shown me, but about all sorts of things that I now realized were true about myself. In the course of a few hours, I had suddenly shed years' worth of carefully constructed defense mechanisms. I went to the closet, felt around till I found my old teddy bear, and pulled the diary out. I took it over to my bed where I propped up some pillows and settled in to write my epic confessional. I flipped through the series of lies I had felt so clever in creating, until I got to the previous day's entry. Sunday, the day I met Red. I cringed as I glanced over those words, then hurriedly turned the page. It was already filled in. What the fuck? I lifted the journal up to my face and squinted. It was my own handwriting, my own style, too. "Dear Diary, today was fucked up." That was exactly how I intended to begin the entry. Absurdly, I turned my eyes to my right hand, as if I would find some kind of answer etched into my palm. I didn't, of course. There was just the usual pattern of creases and whorls. I stared at it for a long time, until it began to look strange, like an alien creature onto itself. Then I snapped out of it, took a deep breath, and read the rest of the entry. It described my day exactly, starting with the excitement I had felt in seeing Red again, and ending with me coming up to my room to write it all down. When I had finished reading, I closed the diary, got up, and replaced it in the teddy bear. I tried not to think about it. Alright, just gonna check out and see what the chat's doing. If it's been doing anything. Oh, hey! The Dark Side of M has showed up. Hi, Dark Side of M. And hey, man. What's wrong with being a little bit boisterous when I record myself? I gotta make sure that the mic can hear me. I mean, yeah, it is like 2 inches in front of my mouth. But, you know, I still do it. Pretty food. I like food. How do I edit my audio so it's not constantly clipping? Well, I just make sure everything lines up, and usually I take all the like there's a noise reduction feature in Audacity. It usually takes out all the background noise, and sometimes even after the noise reduction, there is still some like clicks here and there, but I usually just silence them. Plus, I was able to get a macro from, well, really from 42, but 42 got it from Raven that does a pretty good job of getting all the clipping out. Well, or getting all like the clicks and mouth sounds out. Yeah. Well, with Audacity, you get used to it. Honestly, the majority of the things I do is just the majority of what I do is just a macro that removes everything, and silencing mouth clicks, and highlighting and deleting parts. It's really not as hard as it sounds. But there's lots of videos online that show you how to do it. Like if there's anything you're wondering about. Anything specific. Yeah, see, apparently Raven is kind of smart with this stuff, so we're just all sucking the information out of them. I did have my own procedure for before I got the macro from Raven, but Raven's is much better. Hey, a bird, how's it going? I never know whether to call you Mr. Bird or just Bird. Well, someone will just have to give it to you then. I'm sure either me, PA 42, or Raven himself would be willing to give that to you. As the Raven dreams. That Raven. The one who had a stream this morning. I am just lovely, Bird. So freaking lovely. I can help you out with that later there. Or will I? Maybe I'll just go to sleep. I'll see. Beautiful Nightmare's getting in on it too. She really just Raven is inadvertently just teaching everyone how to do it. We are Raven's Padawans. He is the keeper of knowledge. Oh, crap, there's like less than 10 minutes until... Yeah, there we go. Okay, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this finished quickly then. Because I'm supposed to... Because Dark Side of M is having a premiere of his own, and I gotta watch that, man. Okay, let's see how much left I have in the story here. Quite a bit. I'll keep going until about 7:25. And I don't think I'm going to actually end up finishing the story, guys. Honestly, I did not expect to be reading this long as it was. But thank you for everyone who stuck around this long. Okay. For the next 3 days, I was a model citizen. I groveled at the principal's feet in complete earnestness for another chance. I did all my homework and ate all my veggies. I refrained from making sarcastic remarks and even from smoking weed. Seeing those corpses jostled around by invisible masters had shaken me to my core. Suddenly, life seemed worthwhile to me, even if it meant doing all of the things that appeared ridiculous and pointless before. Maybe especially if it meant doing all that. The mundane was a talisman to be wielded against death, if only because going through the motions meant avoiding thinking about it at all. If only because going through the motions meant avoiding thinking about it all. At the end of the 3rd day of my reformed life, Thursday, I decided to revisit my diary. I had brushed aside the previous incident as a trick of my overstressed mind. I must have written that entry in a daze, and then, when I came back to myself, forgotten all about it. But there was no rationalizing away what came next. I opened the journal and flipped it to the last entry. It was for Friday, October 23rd, which is to say, the future. It was, again, written in my own hand, in my own voice. It was a long, rambling chapter about how my father had had a heart attack. It had been a non-fatal one, I wrote, but it still fucked me up. I'd visited him in the hospital during mealtime, and he had been eating a fruit cup. But he looked like all those people in the park. Dead, crawling with worms, with some force lifting his dead hand and awkwardly shoving a spoonful of fruit into his mouth. The food fell out directly and slid down his chin in a river of various fluids that had poured out of him. I blinked and he was alive again. I had written at length about how I didn't want my dad to die and how I didn't want anybody to die. I had written at length about how I didn't want my dad to die and how I didn't want anybody to die and how scared I was. I read all of this in a state of shock, but even by the end of it, it was possible to explain away if I tried hard enough. Red's cheap magic trick had simply gotten too deep in my brain. I was imagining things that hadn't happened, writing things about these imaginings, and then forgetting having written them. But when, on Friday, my father had a non-fatal heart attack, and I visited him in the hospital, where he appeared dead to me for a moment, like I said, there was no rationalizing that away. My father returned home on Saturday, and despite him having just come within an inch of death, I do think he was in better shape than me. To put it mildly, I had a lot on my mind. There were the visions of corpses that Red had shown me, which haunted me at random moments throughout the day and in my dreams. Then there was my father's cardiac event, which just drove it home even deeper how fragile and precious everything was, despite the layers of gristle I had piled up around my psyche to protect me from this realization. Next, of course, there was the fact that my fucking diary was somehow filling itself in a day ahead of time. These added together were bad enough. But there was something else, too, on top of it all. And that's a good part to leave it off. Dang, this story ended up being longer than I thought it would be. Oh yeah, I have to actually press stop first. Could never do my recording. Well, honestly, I just pretend the mouth clicks aren't happening. No one has complained about my mouth clicks yet, so And if you guys are all hearing the mouth clicks, then you guys are being real troopers over there, not saying a thing. Oh yeah, 42 stealing Miss Creepy Tales stories, of course. Hi, the Boggs official. I'm just about to end it. Yeah, that's actually what I specialize in: swearing, belching, and farting. I'm glad everyone knows me by that. It would be a shame if people knew me for like things like I don't know, like how good I am at reading or anything like that. Okay. All right, gals and ghouls. Thank you very much for being around for over 2 hours. You guys are troopers. I'm going to go check out the Dark Side of M's story. I don't know what Fearsome is apologizing for, but I'm sure whatever it is very important. Oh, thank you, Miss Creepy Tales. Miss Creepy Tales is the swear fairy, and she approves of my swearing, so that's all I really needed. That's all I need to keep me going. Don't worry, 32. I will be in your dreams always. I'm gonna go check out the Dark Side of M's premiere, which is happening in like 3 minutes. And then 42. When's your premiere? What is it like? What is that like? 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's one of those times. 42 is having a premiere soon too. Everyone, check out their streams. Check out all the premieres. Do it all. And leave a like, comment, do all that jazz. Thank you all for listening. I'll most likely be doing another live recording session next week. So if you got any amount of entertainment from this, well, I guess I'll see you next week. All right. See you all later. And